What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode here on the Fantasy Fellowship channel. My name is Kyle. In this video, another Packers full 7-round mock draft. I'm going to hop into a screen share right away. I'm going to be using PFF's mock draft simulator. As I record this, it's April 15th, so we're literally 2 weeks away from the NFL draft, and the Packers they finally got a free agent wide receiver in the building. As of yesterday, signing Sammy Watkins to a 1-year, $4 million deal. Interesting. That's the same money that Lazard and Randall Cobb are getting. So these guys aren't really being paid big money to be here. They are currently the top 3 receivers on the board. Amari Rodgers, the 4th guy, and we'll see if Malik Taylor or Juwan Winfrey can make the roster at all. But we're looking at 2 rookies for sure being drafted, maybe a 3rd receiver. So we'll get into all this depth chart stuff later. I think for sure. We're using PFF. We're gonna hit the start draft here in a second, but I did want to point out these are the players that the Packers have had in for draft visits. So we're gonna come back to that. I think in the first round, though, for me to take Devontae Wyatt and Treylon Burks, those have been the 2 popular guys in the first round that they're looking at, and they both have really strong grades here. Devontae Wyatt, one of the highest graded guys on this Packers board. So without further ado, let's hit start and let's enjoy this full 7-round Packers mock draft. Here we go. Let's hit the button. And it's just going to simulate everything for us here. And I think this is my 6th mock draft with the Packers. I've done a bunch of drafts where we've been taking receiver early, just trying different things. Chris Olave to the Patriots here just before the Packers go pick. Malik Willis here to the Steelers is interesting. Devin Lloyd to the Saints. Nakobe Dean to the Eagles. Jermaine Johnson, Trevor Penning, Jordan Davis. There's Jameson Williams. So if you're curious about the receivers, you got Wilson going to the Texans, Jameson Williams to the Ravens, and of course Olave to the Patriots, Drake London to the Jets. That seems to be a popular spot for him. So interesting mock so far. And again, guys, I think this is mock draft database. I would love to get Chris Olave. I don't see it happening unless the Packers are going to trade up. So mock draft database, they say most people giving us Chris Olave, Treylon Burks, kind of the same percentage there, Jameson Williams, and 38.8% others. So we're looking at a receiver here at 22, and then in the second pick they put Jahan Dotson, Treylon Burks, Chris Olave, and then 77% other. Looking at some of the other drafts here: Devontae Wyatt, George Pickens, Treylon Burks, Kenyon Green, interior offensive lineman, interesting. George Karlaftis here, Daxton Hill, Treylon Burks, Boye Mafe, trying to learn how to say that correctly. And it sounds like this is gaining some steam. I think a lot of people have been getting excited about Boye Mafe to the Packers here. And just looking at the Packers depth chart, again, of course, we need receiver. Everyone knows we need receiver. But this is ourlads.com, and they're listing Elgton Jenkins as our starting right tackle. I don't know if they know anything that we don't. Potentially John Runyon, Royce Newman are starting guards. Maybe we're looking at left guards because I think at worst you can start Elgton Jenkins at right tackle. And then guess what? You can also start Josh Neiman here at right tackle. So I think it's more not necessarily a right tackle that we're looking for. We're maybe looking for a left guard or a right guard. Tight end could definitely use a tight end. Running backs were fine until later. But man, the defensive line, an edge rusher, that's kind of what we're looking at here. So we're up to pick. You got Bernard Raymond here, Devontae Wyatt. It's really hard for me not to take Devontae Wyatt. And who knows, maybe Treylon Burks slips through. I think that's what we're going to do is we're going to gamble. The Cardinals did sign A.J. Green the other day, so that's good. But, man, the Cardinals, the Cowboys need a receiver. Maybe the Buffalo, Tennessee needs a receiver. So these next 4 teams could potentially take Treylon Burks. Let's go ahead and roll the dice here. Again, Devontae Wyatt's been kind of one of my guys here, and he's instantly going to compete with Dean Lowry for a starting spot here. Dean Lowry, Jared Reed, who we signed in free agency. I like it, but like we really don't have anybody here. So this would allow Dean Lowry to maybe come off the bench and be a rotational guy here. And just looking at the board here, between the 2 Georgia defensive tackles, Wyatt is the far more explosive athlete, and it showed as a pass rusher. Wyatt finished with an 84.0 grade. He was dominant at the Senior Bowl. Again, a 90.1 overall, 4 sacks, 5 hits, 17 hurries. So he's a defensive lineman that can be explosive in the pass rush game, and he's going to play primarily in the B gap. So that's going to be lining up next to Kenny Clark. I'm all for this pick. I think the Packers need more beef up front and help control that defensive line of scrimmage. So I'm going to take Devontae Wyatt here, and let's just see. Maybe Treylon Burks falls. I think a lot of people are 50-50 on Treylon Burks. You either love him or hate him. I'm with the camp that actually really likes Traylon Burks and thinks he could be a really fun player here. But for me, I know we need receiver. I'm going to take Devontae Wyatt and let's see what happens. So Tampa Bay takes Traylon Burks. God dang it. Looks like Lewis Sign here from Georgia, the safety, Tyler Linderbaum, the center for Buffalo, Zion Johnson, Andrew Booth Jr. So we barely missed out on Traylon Burks. So that's going to make me look elsewhere. And guess what? Looking back at this list, so far, these are our top two guys. They are both off the board. I'm actually going to let's highlight Devontae Wyatt in green. We drafted him. We missed out on Traylon Burks. So now, who's our next best player? I mean, Abraham Lucas is technically our best player, but there's really nobody else with a first-round grade here on our list. So a lot of people are going to want George Pickens, Christian Watson. I think if this is the board, really good spot for the Packers to trade out. There is an edge rusher here. Boye Mafe looks really good, but the pressure here is going to be immensely high, especially at 22. If they take Devontae Wyatt over Traylon Burks or your favorite receiver, there's going to be a lot of pissed off Packer fans. But I think at 28, if this is the board, again, the best receiver available, Jahan Dotson, and I'm surprised that we haven't brought him in for a visit. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe they're being coy about him. I actually really like, I really like Jahan Dotson. Here's the blurb on him. Dotson is one of the most difficult receivers to cover in the class. While he has some size concerns at only 5'11" and 184, Dotson played through contact more than enough to alleviate any worries. He dropped only 2 of his 93 catchable targets last season. A nice grade here, 87.5, 12 games played. He can play in the slot. I like that. About a quarter of his snaps in the slot. 91 receptions, 137 targets, 1,182 yards, and 12 touchdowns. Highly, highly productive. This is the guy that could lead the Packers in receptions right out the gate. One of the smoothest route runners in this class. I know a lot of people are all about George Pickens. They're all about Christian Watson, who again we've had these guys, we've had these receivers in for visits, but I don't know. For me, it feels like a little bit of a reach at the end of the first round. I can see it, but my heart's telling me again, if it's up to me, I kind of think Jahan Dotson fits because here's what the Packers are going to be doing. You got Sammy Watkins on the outside. You got Allen Lazard on the outside. We're looking for a slot player. We're looking for someone that can we don't want Randall Cobb running all the snaps here. Randall Cobb's a fine fourth receiver at his age right now. But man, I think if you put Jahan Dotson in there with Watkins and Allen Lazard, some good things could potentially happen. And I just think I don't want to fit. I don't want to reach for something. I do think there's something there with Christian Watson. He's a guy who, I mean, really, he had a 10.0 RAS score. It could be him. I think either way, though, pick your favorite wide receiver here at 28 if we get Devontae Wyatt. And go with that. I'm going to try something different here. I haven't mocked Jahan Dotson, but I think now that they've signed Sammy Watkins, to me, that's like, okay, they want a slot receiver. And Traylon Burks, actually, let me show you. He was the primary slot receiver last year for Arkansas, 222. So, but 2/3 of his snaps out of the slot. I think he would be the big slot guy for us. If you go and look at a guy like Christian Watson, I think he's primarily an outside guy. You see 25 slot snaps, most of his snaps coming out wide. And again, that Sammy Watkins is going to be out wide. Allen Lazard is going to be out wide as well. So I do think there's a small outside chance that Sky Moore could be the guy too. 140 slot snaps. He's actually got one of the highest grades of this class here. So I like Sky Moore. I really don't know if it matters who they take. I think I want a slot guy here. So I'm just going to change it up. Jahan Dotson is my pick. And let's keep it moving. So Devontae Wyatt and Jahan Dotson. I'm excited about that. Not somebody that we had on our list, but just because they're on our interview list doesn't mean that like we're going to draft them. It could be them doing their due diligence that like they're like, hey, let's see what he does in the coach's room. Let's see how our guys like him. But maybe they already had good meetings with some guys. But anyways, we are on the clock. Pick number 53, Kenneth Walker III, just off the board here. Chad Muma, Drake Jackson, Christian Harris. There's George Pickens to Chicago. It looks like this mock had them trade maybe back up or something. Breece Hall to Washington. This PFF mock's getting a little crazy at the moment here. And Sky Moore there, pick 36. So to be honest with you guys, like if PFF is giving Sky Moore pick number 36, I think there's a legit chance that the Packers maybe trade back from 28. I think that's a really, really legit possibility. But anyways, we're up to pick again. Leo Chenal, linebacker, kind of an edge rusher here. Let me actually pull up his stats for you guys. He's 35th on the big board. And you see here a lot of box snaps, 74 tackles last year. I don't see any sacks on his list, but a highly graded linebacker here, if we're so inclined. Now, I do think in my mock drafts, I've been giving us Abraham Lucas primarily because he's a starting right tackle potentially. So if he's available here, this pick makes a lot of sense to me. You look at all the snaps you're at right tackle. The grade's not the greatest, so if they wanted to wait, I totally understand. And I actually think that maybe we just keep it moving. Maybe there's another guy here that sticks out. Looking at some of these rankings here, I mean, we got some guys that we can wait on. I definitely want to wait for this edge here, Alex Wright. I'm going to highlight him in orange. I want to wait and see where PFF has him. And I'm interested in Sam Williams being potentially a third-round pick for us, as well as this offensive lineman here, Jamare Sawyer, offensive lineman that we could be very lucky to get and very versatile. And then you got Luke Godecki here from Central Michigan, the highest graded guy on this board that the Packers are looking at by PFF. So I'm thinking he's going to be my third-round pick. So I have offensive linemen in the bag. I can, we can get even Jatire Carter here is a fun guy that we can get later. So I'm not too looking to fill that need there. Again, we missed out on some of these wide receivers. Let's actually take a peek and see who's available here. You got Jalen Tolbert, Justin Roche, Christian Watson's available, guys, at this point of the draft. You guys want to do that? I'd really like Alec Pierce, but I mean the ADP of Christian Watson, man, and he's got a strong grade here. 6'4", 208. The Combine King is more than just a high-level testing athlete that we saw in Indy. He's a super flexible 6'4", 208-pound receiver who can adjust to balls easily outside his frame. The drop issues and ball tracking are a tad concerning, however, as Watson has 16 drops on 120 career catches. That I'm not too worried about here. High grade, not very productive. They didn't really throw the ball that much. But again, he's a combine freak. I think this can be fun, man. This board felt really nice. I do like a lot of other receivers here, but let's go ahead and get Christian Watson on the board. 53. So we got two receivers. We got Christian Watson and Jahan Dotson. Potentially next year, you could have starting slot receiver Jahan Dotson with outside receiver Christian Watson. Something to think about. Could be kind of fun. And now we are up to pick here. I did not think we'd be getting our guy Christian Watson here, but man, we got him. So we got one of our guys. We missed on George Pickens. I'm highly considering Abraham Lucas here. Now I've drafted him a bunch. Let me actually look up Jamare. They don't like Jamare Sawyer a lot here. 69th rank, a low grade. I'm really not sure why he is so low graded here. Here's Jamare Sawyer. PFF 69th ranked big board. Again, a really low grade. He's a left tackle kind of guy that can be moved around. Not overly interested in him. I am very interested at pick 59 if Trey McBride's available. I am highly interested. I do like our tight end group right now, but again, Robert Tonyan, we're not guaranteed that he's going to be ready for training camp. Josiah DeGuara is a nice guy, but I think everyone will agree he's kind of a number 2. So, man, would this be the offensive draft here? Trey McBride, are you guys interested? 64th overall by the big board here. McBride put up an all-time season high, all-time season for the tight end position. In 12 games, he racked up 1,125 yards on 91 catches, which was over a third of Colorado State's passing yardage. Everyone knew the ball was coming his way, and he still dominated. I'm interested. A 94.8 grade, the best tight end available here. I'm stoked. Only one touchdown. That's kind of weird, but I think, man, getting Rodgers more weapons, man. Let's do it. Like Rodgers has got 2 years for sure, maybe a third year. Let's get potentially the next Mark Andrews, the next Travis Kelce. Let's see what we got here. The clear number 1 best tight end, by the way, too. So, Trey McBride, welcome. We got Devontae Wyatt, Jahan Dotson, Christian Watson, and now Trey McBride. The offense, man, it's gonna be popping. So we're up to pick here at 92. Wan'Dale Robinson, Greg Dulcich here, the second best tight end, I think, from UCLA. We're looking around here at some of these guys. I'm very, very happy with how this board fell for us. And now I kind of just, after doing these mocks all the time, man, I kind of just know that, hey, we didn't get Abraham Lucas, the starting right tackle. I think that's okay. We didn't get the low-graded Sawyer. Maybe the Packers like him. But this is the guy, Luke Godecki here, Central Michigan, 92.2 rating, ranked 100. Let me show you guys what Luke Godecki can do. So here we go. PFF's 100th ranked player, 6'5", 310. The other half of college football's best tackle duo from last year. Godecki is a very steady run blocker who likely projects best to guard at the next level. His 94.3 run blocking grade in 2021 was among the top marks in the nation. And there it is, that 92.2 grade. A lot of pass blocking and running snaps here. Gave up 0 sacks last year. Only 3 hits, 4 hurries in 10 games. So I'm very, very happy here. Again, he played right tackle. This is the thing, is we wanted a right tackle that could maybe compete here with Josh Neiman. But it sounds like his arms are a little small, and that's what I didn't say anything about his arms here. But again, he projects best to guard. But you're talking about a guy here who, worst case scenario, if things happen, he could be right tackle. But guess what? He's going to be able to compete at left guard and right guard here. So to me, this is this is who we want round 3. Luke Godecki here, one of the top-rated run blocking guards here. Let's load it up, and all of a sudden, that offense, baby, 2 receivers, a tight end, and a swing guard. Very excited here. And now I think we'll begin to focus on some defense guys here. I wanted to see if Sam Williams. We missed on Sam Williams, the edge rusher. So I think back at pick number round 3, this could have been the other guy the Packers are looking at. Maybe they have acquired another pick or 2 by then. I think round 3, though, Sam Williams, I would totally not be surprised if he came off the board. But PFF's 131 ranked player, they got a low grade on him. I'm okay with not getting him. There's some players that I like later. But anyways, we get Godecki here, one of our top players on the board. We missed on Sam Williams. That's okay. But now we are available to look around here. And there's still a guy here ranked 352 by PFF, Alex Wright out of UAB. He's got a 90.4 grade as an edge rusher. Highly, highly interesting player here. But now that we're in the, what are we? We're in the 4th round. I mean, we've loaded the offense up, guys. I really don't know what else we need. Let me look around here. I've been looking at this backup running, the backup linebacker here, DeMarco Jackson. He's kind of an interesting guy here out of Appalachian State. He does have an 83.4 grade, highly productive guy. He looks like he's a 3-year starter here. A lot of box snaps here. So if we wanted a guy that could potentially push Chris Barnes, or just be, a special teams kind of ace, I'm highly interested there. If we wanted to go back to the well on wide receiver, let me just show you who's available round 4. My guy Tyquan Thornton, and again, we got John Dotson, we got Trey McBride, we got Christian Watson here. I don't think we need a wide receiver here, but who knows? Velus Jones Jr. could be the guy too as a primary return man. But I'm just looking around. Again, we don't really have anybody that we need. Isaiah Spiller, we're not taking Isaiah Spiller, but there's Thornton and Velus Jones. Let me take a peek here. We got a while before Alex Wright gets drafted. So what do we do here? Maybe we go interior offensive lineman again. What's Justin Schaefer doing here for Georgia? 71.1 grade. I don't love it. Basically, I'm kind of feeling like this pick is kind of a luxury pick. Let me take a look at safeties here. Sterling Weatherford out of Miami. JT Woods. This is the highest ranked safety available. A lot of Packer fans, it seems like they want to back up safety to potentially replace Darnell Savage, or basically just be a guy that we can maybe develop behind our starting safeties, Amos and Savage. So maybe this Marquise Bell here, Florida A&M. He's got a high grade here. 6'2", 212. I like the rankings here. A lot of slot snaps, box deep. Looks like a very versatile safety here. So if you guys don't mind me taking a safety, I think, again, he's got a little bit later rank of 154. But I'm going to go ahead and grab the 4th round safety here and load him to the defense, and we'll see if we can continue to add some defensive players here. We're back up to pick here. I'm going to actually go back and grab one more wide receiver here. Flip a coin, Tyquan Thornton, Velus Jones Jr. I think either one could be a lot of fun. I think at this point, it really doesn't matter. Thornton's a lot of fun. Velus Jones, though, is a more dynamic special teams guy, so I'll take Velus Jones here to be our 7th. The Packers are going to keep 7 receivers, and he's going to be the special teams guy. So excited about that. But anyways, we are back up to pick here. We got the boy Velus Jones on the squad. And now we're kind of just filling in the gaps. I could just get Alex Wright, the edge rusher, out of the way here. I don't know why they have him ranked so low, but his ADP is about 196. They have him as their 352 best player, but a 90.4 grade, 5 sacks. But man, he's a good outside the tackle guy. Look at that hurries, 43 hurries, man. So this is the edge rusher here that we're going to end up getting for you guys as our third edge rusher, and I might even bring in another guy here too. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Packers go out and sign a veteran edge rusher. There's probably a handful of guys here that could compete and be our fourth edge rusher for us. But so far, so good. I'm feeling this draft. I actually just want to go hit edge one more time and see if anybody sticks out. Actually, there is a hybrid safety here that I like, but he didn't really make the PFF grades, and that's one of the guys the Packers brought in. His name's Tariq Carpenter. I don't see him anywhere on this list, unfortunately. We got 3 more picks to make. Let me go ahead and just add some big guys here. I remember Jason Poe was a guy that snuck up onto some of my other radars here. Not the best guy, but he could be a right guard potentially for us. Let me see. What do you guys think of running back here? I think there is a need for running back, and one of my guys here was Tyler Goodson. Just potentially a really good pass catching running back. Let me show you his stats here. 5'9", 197. But he caught 31 passes for 38 targets. He's always been involved in Iowa's receiving game, even as a young freshman here. But last year, 1,148 yards. He scores touchdowns. He catches the ball. I think adding a running back in the 7th round here to compete with Kylan Hill makes a lot of sense. So I'll get Tyler Goodson there. And then basically what? We need we'll grab two more linemen here. Let's look at the interior offensive lineman. We'll look at tackle, and then we'll look at DL. So top player available, Patrick Paul, the Houston Cougars, 6'7", 305, massive left tackle, massive left tackle. Only gave up 3 sacks last year, 11 hurries in 14 games, over almost 1,000 snaps. I like that. That's very solid numbers. DJ Dale, defensive lineman out of Alabama. Low grade here. Kind of just a in between the guy that could be a rotational player. Let me see. Austin Deculis. Not sure how to say that. Low grade here, but a right tackle, experienced right tackle here for a decent LSU squad. Didn't give up many sacks. Looked like he only gave up 7 sacks in his career in 3 seasons. Eric Swenson out of Oklahoma. We're talking about a 6'6", 328 tackle. Strong grade here. And look at this. 10 games last year, not a lot of snaps, but he played kind of all over the place. Has some experience at left tackle. I'm just gonna bring him in. I'm gonna bring him in and see if he can just maybe help us out somewhere on the offensive line. And then we'll finish this draft with one more DL or an edge rusher. What do you guys think? And we'll call it a day. I'm just excited about the offense that we were able to add in this draft here. What's McKinley Williams got here out of Syracuse? Not the best grade, a bit of a nose tackle situation. So Kenny Clark's got that situation down. If Kenny Clark gets hurt, Packers are in trouble. So we got a lot riding on him. So it would make sense to kind of load the boats there. Here we're looking at a guy who is primarily an edge rusher here, Myron Tagovailoa Amosa. Curious about his relationships, but 4 sacks, 28 hurries, highly productive guy here. A lot of snaps in his 3 years here. I like the hurries. Maybe this is the guy here. 71.17. Let's see if we can beat it. Again, this is our last pick. Izizi Otomiwo out of Minnesota. He played probably opposite of Boye Mafe here. Only 2 sacks last year, 20 hurries. Decent grade though. I'm intrigued with that production there. Kyron Johnson, Kansas player, 280 on the big board, 81 grade, 6 sacks, 27 hurries. Let's go with the Kansas kid. Kyron Johnson here to finish up our draft, and let's call it a day. This was fun. Our offense is gonna be sick. But anyways, it's grading the draft. Let's go ahead and we'll get out of that, and then here we go. So Devontae Wyatt, our first round pick. We come back with Jahan Dotson, and we were able to snag Christian Watson here in the 2nd round, pick number 53. And then we come back with Trey McBride. So guys, the offense is stocked. I come back and I get Luke Goedeke here, a potential starting right tackle or a guard for the Packers. So he's going to be an important player. He might be a starter at some point this season or the future 2023 season. We got a hybrid player here, Marquise Bell, who could be just a rotational guy. Again, he kind of lined up all over the place. He played some slot, he lined up in the box, played some safety. Athletic guy here. I don't care about these rankings of Fs because PFF's big board have these guys ranked low. But again, we're getting a starting kick returner here, a guy that can. I didn't even show you guys Velus Jones Jr.'s stats, but highly productive receiver last year. Alex Wright, they have him ranked number 352, but they had a 90 grade on him, so it's shame on them for giving us an F. Tyler Goodson, a guy that could compete as our RB3, good pass receiving back if anything happens to Aaron Jones. And then Eric Swenson, potential tackle, also had some experience on the other offensive line positions. And then Kyron Johnson gives us a B-. I don't really care about the grade, but that's going to do it, man. That was fun. Thank you guys so much for hanging out in this video. I'll end up probably doing maybe one more mock next week before the draft. Just excited to get all this new information and new mock drafts out there for you guys. So like the video, subscribe if you're new. It helps the channel grow. Let me know what my best picks were, what were the worst picks. Curious what you guys have to think on this video. So that's it. Sammy Watkins is the Packer. Adios. Peace.